Meg's checking her DEXCOM. Numerous examples. Scan the QR code if you need it.
This has changed a lot. This is crazy how much it's changed.
The windstorm earlier in the year dramatically changed, as you can tell from that absolutely dynamic stump there. It's gigantic. So beautiful flowers.
I can't go around you, so.
We had to climb under that tree there.
You can see down, like before it was just all trees, but now you can really see the topography looking down this way. Those other hikers to catch up with us. You can take the highway through here. That's so new. If you look down, I can't tell if that's the parking lot we came from or the...
I-90.
No, down here.
Oh, right.
It's either someone's house or the parking lot, but
Newport Way, right?
you could never see this before.
There's Lake Washington.
There were so many trees and so much, like both little trees and big trees. You could have never seen this before.
That windstorm took a real number on these trees here.
The last time we were on this trail, all these trees were still upright. All of them. You can still smell it. If you put your face and breathe in, like you can still smell kind of like that cut. I mean, it wasn't cut recent, but
Oh yeah, you can smell the wood residue. Yeah.
yeah, from being cut.
Yeah.
Here's the sap here.
Mm-hmm.
This trail so well, we did it so often that it's just so drastically changed. Oh, here, you can see a squirrel's been eating a pine cone here.
Evidence of squirrels eating a pine cone right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Washed out.
It both broke away and washed down.
So the tree there was here and it rolled down, creating a big...
They've created a sand, so it had broken off of the trail here, also slid down, so the root base was in this zone. They had to put the sandbags to help reinforce the trail.
Exactly.
Those are newer too, you can
Yeah.
tell. Based on like where we are here, and the next crop of trees, like it's just like
Straight down.
I mean, practically.
I mean, that's a steep hillside there.
Fall down that one.
No, exactly.
We've been hiking for about 26 minutes. I didn't check my glucose. I can't check my watch while using the hiking app. Well, it's 65 and dropping.
Here, let's show the viewers. So Meg has a continuous glucose monitoring system. So it shows she's 65. That's low and dropping pretty fast. So the direction of the arrow tells you.
That's a slow drop. That's a fast drop is down, and a really fast drop has 2 arrows going straight down.
But she has glucose tablets and we have water also, so we're okay. Snack food and nuts. So we brought some trail snacks.
And that's Sweet Pea.
And that's Sweet Pea, our kitty, who's no longer with us. But we love her and we miss her.
I miss her every day.
We miss her every day, although she never went hiking with us. So.
It's really stripped. The bark off it, but that's dead actually all the way up. That's the interesting thing about these maple trees is that a live tree can often be attached to a dead tree or vice versa, where because they seem to grow in like little clusters.
Yeah, maple trees grow in clusters. That's true.
That may not be the right actual term for it, but they do. You'll see a lot of different trees growing up out of the same like base.
That's true.
This see it in higher up.
Upper alpine ferns. This is a specific kind that Meg really likes.
It's super soft.
It's a beautiful, soft fern.
If you rub your
So
fingers
you run your fingers through it, it feels like silky fabric. It's an exquisitely delicate
and if you look
feel.
at if you can zoom on that, I don't know. They're the
Serrated leaves.
Serrated leaves, yeah.
Yeah.
They're super delicate.
Very
though.
delicate, very gentle, almost silk-like.
It's one of my favorite.
This is a gigantic tree. Meg's gonna stand next to it for scale. Look at how big this tree is.
This would be a really bad time for this tree to fall because it'd go right with it.
Right? I mean, look at that. It's got to be 5 feet in diameter near the base.
Zoom out to show the scale of the opening.
It's a giant opening right here.
Well, that didn't used to exist.
Devil's Club. Look at this razor sharp spikes on these. Be careful of this Devil's Club.
This is actually even dangerous to
Yeah.
touch the inner leaf, but if you look at it here,
it's dangerously
all the way
spiked
down.
all the way down. It's much worse than a blackberry bush,
Yeah,
and they hurt and they're razor sharp.
they're
They're called Devil's Club.
They'll cut you up like a razor.
You get cut up. That's why they're called Devil's Club.
And they get really wide.
But look how wide the leaves are. Like if I put my hand next to one, look at that. Look at.
Smaller one too.
There's bigger ones. I mean, these are just right here. Do you see this one right here?
Yeah, that one.
It's got a ripped scar down the side.
Another tree fell down. In fact, there's probably this tree here fell across it, which then ripped half of it off because it's still alive.
Right.
So it's another amazing thing that God did. The fact that they can still grow even after being
Damaged heavily.
damaged. Such a clearing where you can just see out more that before you couldn't.
It's true. You can see into these ravines, ditches, and off the edge of the cliff here much more easily than before, because the windstorm took out a lot of trees, opening up the understory quite a bit. And this is part of what's known as forest succession. So if you study ecology, succession means as the forest ages, the old trees fall and then mushrooms eat the old trees and they produce a rich humus.
And there's a whole bunch of insects that come and then the birds and the other animals eat the insects.
We can see an example right here of termites.
Oh, you missed it.
Of termites.
No, zoom out. Oh, you missed it. It was a brown squirrel.
Okay, we can see here mushrooms and termites have been eating this stump and turning it back into wood chips and soil. So.
Oh, here. I was going to say there's a bunch of missing trees.
These are the missing trees we're looking for.
At least 2 root bases, I see, but there's...
See, it creates these big open gaps in the forest where the sun can come in.
And so, actually, that's the one thing I can say is the undergrowth is a lot richer.
So it makes the undergrowth much richer and heavier. Here we can see lichen and moss growing in here, and they're going to eat the tree.
That's moss.
That's moss, but there's lots of examples. Look at this cool little fern here, right? There's tons. Here's a traditional fern, and it's, if you flip it over here and look on the underside, that's its pollen, those little brown dots. There's just the Pacific Northwest is packed with native species, and they're doing an ecological restoration system on this trail. So groups of volunteers come through here and install plants and chainsaw. So it's so different. We almost don't recognize it from 2 years ago.
It's so different though that it feels like a different trail. There's some Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I thought this was a mushroom. No, I think that's just damaged.
So here's another example.
That's just a
These are symbiotic organisms that grow in the forest.
They call that, I think they call it old man's beard. The one
Old
that
man's
hangs
beard,
down
exactly.
like that.
There's lots of different kinds of symbiotic lichen and moss.
About the name.
And they work with the tree, so the tree gives it some phloem, which is like sugary water. And then in exchange, the lichen gives nutrients. Xylem and phloem, yeah, exactly. So it's like the blood of the tree.
I think this is the lichen. This is lichen.
Here, Meg found some lichen.
I liken it.
She likes the lichen.
No, I liken it.
It almost looks like crumpled up paper.
No, I don't like it. I liken it.
Meg likens the lichen.
I liken it.
Exactly.
This looks right there at the top. It looks like I don't know what kind of bird, but it looks like a nest.
Oh, there's a bird nest up
This
there.
is the one that we filmed from down there.
Yeah, see it much better from here. That tree's root network actually forms a staircase right here. So when you're going up there, you can use it like stairs on the trail. This is pretty amazing. You don't normally get to see anything like this, but this is the root ball of a large tree.
I'm 5'3".
And it's like 8 feet tall.
I'm taller with shoes on.
Yeah.
So I'm 5'3", so I'm about
Look at the size of this root ball here.
5'4" with shoes on.
Meg's 5'4".
That tree root up there.
Exactly.
It has to be like 12.
Meg's remarking at the diameter of the root here. It looks like a tree itself, but that's actually the tree root. And look here, you can see sap actually pooling up. It's a sticky fluid that dries hard like plastic, but that's another aspect of the tree's blood system. It's very it's flammable. Sappy wood like this near the base of a tree burns exquisitely hot if you're burning wood. The resin is like diesel fuel mixed with glue. Here's some tall dead trees that another windstorm's going to take out. And you look at the pockled appearance here. So woodpeckers and termites are eating this.
There's about 7 trees right in this zone that should be at least topped off a little bit.
So the next big windstorm that rips through here is going to take these down because they're already dead. Check out this grand maple tree here. And then I'm going to show you some mushroom activity. But look at this grand maple tree. Isn't that exquisite? Okay, now Meg really wants to show you how mushrooms are the forest recycling element.
And unless you know what kind of mushroom it is,
don't eat it unless you know for sure.
Unless you absolutely know it's not worth the risk, because you could cause death.
Yeah, some mushrooms are deadly, but what they do is the mycelium.
This one right here, it almost looks like wood grain, but it's actually the mycelium.
The mycelium grows into the wood, and then it starts digesting the cellulose.
You can feel that it's soft.
And it softens the wood. You can feel it. It's like a car tire, like a racing car tire. It's real soft.
You don't have to say everything I'm saying.
Okay, so what's eventually going to happen is the mushrooms are going to completely consume this log or this dead tree, and they'll break it back down into this soil, like this that we see here.
I mean, they grow beneath the outer bark, is what I meant to say.
Right, because they're going to eat the phloem and the xylem preferentially, and then the cellulose. Because they have enzymes that can break cellulose back into glucose and saccharides that they use for their mycelial network.
Zoom in here. Do you see that? Evidence of a wild animal using nature as a toilet.
Yes, they brought sanitary wipes with them. The bear is sophisticated. I'm just kidding. Meg found a feather.
It's a little inner feather because it's got some of the down.
Soft down inner feather. Okay.
Volunteer flowers that...
Here's a buttercup. Wesley, buttercup.
They're such a happy flower.
They're beautiful color. Look at this. Just big stand of the beautiful yellow buttercups. I love that color. Meg spotted the salmon berries. Here, I'll zoom in on one. They're like a raspberry, but they're orange in color.
Orangey yellow.
Orangey yellow colored. Like that. See the salmon berries?
We both have some.
Kind of tart.
Very, yeah, tart. It's not very sweet. The disadvantages of being short. Look, so you can see how they're kind of yellow underneath and they get kind of a pinky color.
And Meg says they're good for our microbiome.
Wait. Yeah.
That's a very like a tart blueberry.
I'm gonna leave a few for the wildlife, but I'm gonna have some because I want to update my immune system. Oh look, there's like a, looks like a little animal trail. Here's another one. The darker they are, the riper they are. The first ones that's gonna be a good one. You're welcome ahead of time. Here's some more dark ones. Nice. That's a really good one. Look how dark that is. I saw another one. I just can't. There it is. We'll split that one. They're not sweet, but
that one's a little sweeter.
But they have a lot of antioxidants. There's a lot more grasses growing.
Oh, these are grass seeds.
Yeah.
I believe this gigantic tree is a cedar. Yeah, that one's about 8 feet in diameter. Look at the size of this thing. Sunbreak in the trees where the power wires are here. It's kind of nice.
I think this is called policeman's helm because they look a little bit like old school
police hats.
Police hats. Is that or yeah, but hummingbirds like this.
Yeah, the hummingbirds fly up and suck nectar.
Bumblebees are so cute. They'll crawl up inside and you see a little bee butt. Not literally right now, but I've seen it before.
See if you look inside. They go in there to get the nectar and the pollen. They fertilize
I could be wrong about the species, but I think it is policeman's home.
Meg thinks policeman's home.
Oh, here's clover. I'm sorry, clover flower.
Clover flower.
Bumblebees like these too, but
cows like it too.
You can. I wouldn't do it this close to a trail, but you can pluck these and then suck the
sweet part out
of the bottom.
That's what clover honey, exactly.
Look at all the tall grass. It's so tall.
The grass is 8 feet tall. I mean, there's Meg. She's 5'3". There's grass stalks that are going way up there, much higher. She found some more salmon berries. Thank you.
Oh, that one's the sweetest one yet. That's the best one. That one's a little newer. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Those ones are the best ones we've had so far. Most of them aren't ripe.
Meg really likes these salmon berries.
Gotta update my microbiome.
She keeps sharing with me too.
Sharing's caring.
Sharing is caring with food usually, not with viruses.
I was gonna say the same thing. Oh, this is right here. This is stinging nettle. If I had gloves, we could pick the very tops of it, and I could put it in the nettle tea that I.
So that's stinging nettle, and you can make a tea out of it. This potent,
so
biologically active.
We gotta do this trail again with a plastic bag and gloves, so I can.
Lob off. This is exactly what you need to make the tea with, right here.
No, sorry. I'm not gonna make tea. I'm gonna make soup.
Yeah, you can add it to soup too. Stinging nettle.
Wait. I was inspired by Clarkson's Farms.
By Jeremy Clarkson's farm.
Either season 2 or season 3. They made nettle tea. I think it was season 3.
But it's a nice green that you can add to a soup. But you need gloves because the little needles on it contain oxalic acid, which is an irritant.
When you cook it,
it denatures. When you cook it, it denatures the oxalic acid or the irritating. I might have that wrong, but it takes away the stingy part and just adds the flavor. Here's more of it.
But it also sucks up chemicals, so you never want to pick this.
It's a bioremediator, so it picks up heavy metals from the soil. So you want to make sure you're not doing it. You want to do it in a nature area, not in an industrial area. It's like mustard. It can suck up cadmium and.
So
Meg's pointing out this devil's club that's 12 feet tall here.
over there is
Yeah.
12 or more.
So it can get ginormous, like way bigger than people. And if you fall into it, boy, does it tear you up. Here's some more over here.
You don't actually want to touch them.
Don't touch them.
That's, again,
Meg wants to show how big the leaf is here.
check that out. My palm is actually still smaller than that. That is so big.
We got a 20 hand.
2,
Yeah.
6, 7.
15 hands. 7 times 2 is 14.
That's 3 here, 2, 2, 1. That's 8. Plus another 2, 4, 5. 8 and 5 is
14.
14. No.
Yeah. 8. Oh, 13. Hey, yesterday was Friday the 13th. Oh, goodness.
Anyway, this is one of the bigger ones you saw, like in terms of like a single. This one's very similar in size. The tops aren't actually. You can feel hairs on it. I wouldn't go against the hairs because they could. Probably
Yeah, if you go against the hairs, you get a bunch of little hairs stuck in your skin and it sucks.
And they can get really embedded.
Yeah, they're like a barbed thing that goes in and sticks like a porcupine quill.
It's just it's incredible.
Meg's amazed this because it's so tall. It's like 12 feet tall.
It almost looks tropical.
It does have a tropical broadleaf look to it. It's true. Spotted the flowers of the Devil's
Oh,
Club.
check it out. Do you see the spines? Do you see this on the other?
You can kind of see the spines.
Look how that's my finger.
So the spikes are all along
And
there.
they're pretty woody.
Top and bottom.
So if you
They're a
came
hard
down on
woody
that,
spine. But look at this flower cone.
and look
Here,
how
these are-
compared to my hand.
They're called cluster flowers.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I gotta keep going.
Isn't that exquisite?
Yeah, but wow, man.
That's the Devil's Club flower right there. Here's some more mushrooms growing in a dead log.
And again, if you don't know,
Don't harvest if you don't know what it is.
yeah, but
There they
I
are.
always thought it'd be kind of cool to go with someone who knows their mushrooms.
Right.
But
They can be poisonous to your liver if you don't know. So be very careful. Use a mushroom guide.
some can kill you within minutes of
Yeah,
eating,
and some of them can be fatal. So
and others can
never,
just
you
develop.
not 90% sure. You need to be 100% sure if you're going to harvest wild mushrooms that you know what you're.
110.
You want to be absolutely certain. Either take someone with you who's a mushroom expert, like Paul Stamets of Fungi Perfecti.
There's a lot of mushrooms that look similar to.
And you need to be no color blindness, and you have to have a color guide because the color shade difference can tell you the difference between one that's slightly poisonous or toxic and very toxic. And so you always want to know for sure if you're going to harvest mushrooms from nature that you know absolute certainty what you're getting. Otherwise, buy them at PCC or Trader Joe's or Safeway or Albertsons or wherever you shop for groceries. Really pretty flowers there. Yeah, this is, Meg said it, there's a cluster flower.
They grow
And they-
on a outward. They
They form a pattern.
haven't read my botany book in a while.
Like that.
That are further up are way less ripe because we're higher.
Higher alpine, less ripe. So we're near the top now. So we're gonna stop for a snack and water here. Meg found this wildlife thing. It tells you all the local wildlife types.
Oh, these are amazing, and they show the footprints.
There's pictures and the footprints, so you can, Douglas squirrel, right? Here's a Townsend chipmunk, right?
Little brown bat. They're really
Little brown
small.
bat. A meadow vole. It's like a little mouse thing in the ground.
You didn't go
Pacific jumping mouse.
down. A deer mouse.
A
Deer
deer
mice.
mouse.
Deer mice can have certain diseases. You don't actually want to pick them.
Dusky shrew.
They have less disease. Muskrat.
This is about the small mammals of the Cougar Mountain Regional Wildlife Park. There's a red fox.
I've never seen a
snowshoe hare.
Never seen a snowshoe hare around here.
A Townsend mole.
Muskrat.
A muskrat.
Possum.
A possum, even though it has an O in the front, it's pronounced possum with a
A
P.
pine marten. I've never seen one around
Pine
here.
marten.
They're cute.
And a short-tailed weasel. And Meg loves wildlife.
Oh, there's more. These are the
All
big
right,
ones.
so these are the big predatory dangerous ones. This is a cougar, right? Here's a black bear.
It's like weight and sizes.
Right? Here's a black-tailed deer. We've got a red fox.
Coyote.
Coyote.
They're bigger than the fox.
We've got a mountain beaver.
There's salmon around here.
Porcupines.
Oh, look, a jumping spider inside the...
There's a little jumping spider in there.
They're so smart.
They're really smart. They're one of the smarter
arachnids. It's actually avoiding
arachnids.
my finger. It's if you watch its behavior.
Here's a bobcat. I mentioned a bobcat on the trail.
There's also lynxes around
And
here.
raccoons. And these things are not afraid of people, but they're dangerous. And we've got the striped skunk.
Well, so with our local raccoons, they do not typically carry rabies, but they do carry a type of roundworm that can be deadly to house pets and humans.
Heartworm.
No, it's a roundworm.
It's a parasite.
It's on the out. A roundworm affects like the skin. So like if you were to, let's just say, pet one or something,
You can get it in your hand.
You can contract it, and it can be deadly to humans and house pets.
Okay.